Hi! So today I wanted to talk about the 10 things that will get you through engineering school. So recently I made a post about what people think that it is like to getting through engineering school. And 80% was being smart and 20% was going to school. And let me tell you, that's not true. So on the next slide of my post, you could actually see all the different things that make up what make you an engineer and help you to get through engineering school. So I wanted to talk about those 10 things. By the way, let's admire this awesome quality that I'm getting today because I am borrowing my mom's phone. So, number one is going to school. And you're going to tell me that this is the most obvious way to get an engineering degree, going to school. But let me tell you, it's not about just going to school. It's about taking the right classes. It's about putting the work into it. Because just by going to school, if you're not willing to put the hard work that engineering takes, you're not going to get through it. You have to learn how you learn. You have to learn how to get through those classes, how to learn the content, how the teachers work, how you're able to get the most out of your classes and apply everything that you learn into real work. Number two is having the motivation to learn. And this goes along with number one. You can't just go to school, you have to put the work into it. But more than that, you have to have the motivation to know that you have to get through school because there's many times, and I'm saying this from my experience, maybe you are really smart and you don't go through this, but at least for me, I would get a bad grade and I would immediately think that I just couldn't do it, that I wasn't smart enough, that I should quit, that I should find a new career or a new life or something. But let me tell you, you have to stick through that. You have to know how to go down, get back up, and try you're even harder. You have to learn that a bad grade is not going to be the end of your career. You have to learn that a bad grade does not mean that you can't do it, that you are not smart enough. You have to know how to get those failures and work even harder to get your grade up the next time, to work your way through your career, through your class, through your semester. In my case, the first test was always the hardest. It will be the one that I will get the lowest grade in always. But as I worked through the semester, every single with new tests, I will get a higher grade. Until the end, I will know how to learn the content. I will know how the teacher explained and how to get that information that the professors will explain to make sense to me. So definitely it's a learning process. And to me, I would think that it was just the first semester was the hardest, but every single semester will be the same story. I would struggle, I would try to adapt, I would work harder, and I would eventually get better at it. These two things on their own, you can get through engineering college. But let me tell you the rest. Number three is knowing yourself and knowing what works for you. In my case, I was a commuter. So for me, it was more challenging to get the resources that I needed and to get answers when I just was far away from college, from the campus. So I needed to learn how I could make up for that, what things were actually making me understand the content, how I could get help when I was far away. And that is just really important because each professor has his own way of teaching and each person has his own way of learning. So while they try to do the best they can and while they try to answer all your questions, you have to know how you learn best also, how you can help yourself learn it. Not just get through your class without actually learning and just memorizing things. You have to make sure that you understand these things. Take a moment to think what has helped you, what are different ways that you can approach the content. To me, I would literally answer every single problem question on the back of the book so I could get different views on how to apply the same topics. But maybe this doesn't work for you. You just gotta figure out what makes sense. Number four is doing your homework. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't really like doing homework. It's not really helping me. But it's not just for a grade. I mean, typically homework is 10% of a whole semester grade. Well, at least in the case for me. But it's not just that 10% that you're getting towards your final grade. You're learning from doing your homework, unless you're strictly just copying it from someone else. So don't just try to take answers from someone else or just do it to do it but don't really learn it. You have to go through it and learn it. Or sometimes you might not be able to get the whole concepts when you're doing it just to turn it in, but even if you're already turning the homework, go back and learn the content. Make sure that it was everything made sense. And these homeworks I also use towards the end of the semesters when I had my finals or when I had my exams. Those will make up my guidelines on what I need to focus on. And usually, or homeworks are the questions that the professors base their exams on. So definitely not just do your homework and turn it in. Make sure that you understand it and that you review it even after it's done. Don't seem just like as an assignment that you have to turn in and you're good to go and you just got that percentage because it's not. There's a lot of content and a lot of learning that you can get from your homeworks. Number 5, and this one to me was really important. It was my family's support. Since I was a commuter, I was with at home most of the time. I would only go for my classes and I will come back right away. So my family support was a really big thing in my career. They were always there when I needed them. If I didn't feel good, if I felt like I wasn't smart enough, they would always go back there and be like, "You can do it. Just look at how far you've done. You have no limits." My mom would always cook for me. She would make me breakfast before I left. She would have lunch ready if I came back. If I was studying, my dad would show up with snacks because he knew I would get hungry when I would be studying. If I didn't understand something, he would try to look at that content, try to help me out. There was no like, oh, like, there was always that support. They were always trying to make something to help me out. And to me, that was the best thing I had when I was going to college, getting that support from them. And definitely if I hadn't had them here, I wouldn't I would if I had been away in college on my own, me being so close to my family, it would have been way more of a challenge to get through engineering school. Number 6 is asking questions. I know what you're saying. You don't like asking questions. I didn't like asking questions, and I honestly wish I asked more questions when I was in school. During class, I would always try to just stay quiet, stay on the back, don't be noticed, don't talk with your accent, because I still every now and then I'm like, I don't like how I talk, and it is not acceptable. And honestly, it doesn't matter what your reason is, why you don't ask questions, or why you think like, oh, this question is gonna sound so stupid. It is not. And I assure you that you're not the only one that has the same question that you have. And another thing for me is like, I don't want to go and ask someone, I don't ask professor a certain question. It's like, no, they're there to help you, and they like that you ask questions and that you're eager to learn, you're eager to understand the content. And I had professors that will make that time too. Before they would start classes, they would be asking if you had any questions, if anyone in the class had any questions from the classes before. And it's really important that you don't sit in silence, because you won't believe how many lectures I sat down and everybody was just quiet. Nobody would ask. And in the back of our mind, we would be all teaming up to try to answer the homework problems, and nobody had idea what was going on. But we would not ask because we were scared. But we should lose that being afraid of asking questions, because that is how we learn. And this is something I also learned when I started working. It's like, you won't know what you don't ask for. And if you need to know something, you need to ask, because people are more than likely, they're willing to help you, they're happy to help you, they're not going to judge you. And if you don't ask, you're going to spend hours and hours trying to figure out something that was so easy if you had just asked for it. Number 7 is having teammates and classmates that you can work with, that you can relate to. That whether it is just to talk about how hard you think engineering is, or just to have fun between classes, or have someone to talk to before your lecture starts. But it can also be a study group that can help you learn. That you have a certain time a week that you meet to your homeworks. It will push you to do the work, and it would also help you out, because when you don't understand something, someone else will. And when they don't understand it, maybe you do. So just having those different people in your group will help you out always learn things that one or the other one might not understand. Number 8 is sleeping well. I cannot tell you how much I slept through college. It was either sleeping or studying. And please don't ever do this when you rather spend all night studying and then show up to your test just having no sleep at all. It will not help you. You don't know how important sleep is when you're going to school. You need to, if you're studying, you need to study, and then you need to have your rest where you would actually be able to, rest. And you won't believe that just from the night before when you're studying and the morning when you wake up, things could be way more clearer. Especially if you're looking into something that didn't make sense and you take the rest and you're well rested for the next morning, then you'll be able to understand it more and you'll be more refreshed. So definitely always sleep enough. Number 9 is having a calculator. You will not go get through engineering school if you don't have a calculator. You just won't. You need it. Please get one. Please don't ever show up to a test without a calculator. While it might seem so insignificant, you're like, why are you throwing it out there? You need it. You really need it. Number 10 is being a little bit smart. I mean, obviously, you don't need to be the smartest person, but everybody's smart. You just need to be a little bit. You don't need to be anything more than average just to get through engineering school. You just need to, be able to get through those challenging classes and push yourself to get through school. And knowing that you want to do that, knowing that you're passionate about something, that will get you through school. So never ever ever think that you're not smart enough for engineering. So those are the 10 things that got me through engineering school and will get you through engineering school. And if you think there's some other things that I should include into this list, then drop them below and I will be sure to make a part 2 of my pie chart of what things make up getting your engineering degree. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe, like this video, and I am always welcoming to more ideas of what you would like to see that will help you get and succeed through engineering school. Thank you.